Are you sleeping good? Gentlemen, listen up, y'all. Here's the new plan. You're gonna start a riot, and we're gonna walk out the front door.
Hey, man. I know guys on crack that makes more sense than you.
Really? Then let me put it to you this way, cuz. Yeah. I don't know how to be. No crib on MTV. God only knows. Got my mini-me in the GP. See how it goes. Evil's all that I see. You ask me my name? G to the Rizzo, E to the Bizzo, I to the Lizzo. I'm a crazy. You all knew that. Austin caught me in the first act. It's all backwards. What's with that? So I'll make a prophecy from the dogs to the mini-me. Give me an Escalade or two-way bling-bling on eBay. Domino. Yeah. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Uh-huh. It's for all my homies in Bruges. Cristal, my moto, a couple of bee hutches. Why not? I got a buster move, dropping buster groove, feeling fine. Got an evil crew, gold member crew, lick my 9. Till then, I'll on my butt, brains out, put on call and splooge in your app. That's all. For shizzle my nizzle, y'all.
You serious?
A lot of people ask why. Why treat the customer this way? Why? Because fuck them, that's why.
Hello! I wanted to get some kind of intro to this, but I've been thinking about what else I could do that's fun and interesting. I like to listen to a lot of YouTubers, and one of my favorites is Nerdrotic. He gets into pop culture stuff, woke Hollywood, that kind of stuff. And he just put out a video that I haven't checked out yet, so I wanted to check it out live and just react to it, see how that goes. Let's see. Stop it. It's called Woke Hollywood Instant Regret. The strikes have been a disaster. And they've talked about this on other live streams before, but I haven't reacted to this video yet. This should be interesting. Check it out.
Greetings, you over 870,000 awakening wonders and the 40% who haven't subscribed yet. Yes, part of Woke Hollywood is returning the work. The writers are back and they are declaring victory. And instead of
the writers that were so good, they're worried about the AI taking over.
For example, a She-Hulk writer getting a $396 residual check, they're now going to get a $696 residual check.
Wow. Yeah, those residuals aren't really good. You got to be a really good writer to make money in Hollywood. Like, you got to be J. Michael Straczynski, somebody like that, or Vince Gilligan, Tim Sheridan. Is it Taylor? Yeah, Taylor Sheridan, the guy who created Yellowstone and whatnot, spinoffs. Tulsa King. He's also behind Jeremy Renner's show. I forget the name, but this guy's a prolific writer and he's very busy. Like, he's got his hands in so many projects. But there are very few writers like that in Hollywood, which is a shame.
Unfortunately for them, the strike continues. We have reached day 100 of the Screen Actors Guild strike at time of recording. And
this has been going on way too long. Look at this.
And whether we like it or not, you need adult pretenders to make pretend in Hollywood. For now.
Sound like the TIE Fighter scream.
First, I think we should all collectively thank the Writers Guild of America for keeping the late night talk show hosts off our televisions and YouTube.
Yeah, I stopped watching them a while back. The last good one to me was Conan. He's awesome.
For months, but all good things come to an end, and they have returned, but not all of them, making a good case that there is a God and that he has a sense of humor. Fully boosted late night talk show host
that was cringe. I don't know if you saw that that skit that he put on.
Stephen Colbert has yet to return thanks to the coof. And the problem with Jon Stewart has been canceled.
Right. Stephen Colbert caught the disease that I don't know if you can say on YouTube, but yeah, he caught it, even though he was fully immunized, boosted.
Problem solved. The strike has also given a company like Disney Marvel a chance to be embarrassed by what they put into production, delaying Echo again, although not far enough. Agatha, whatever it's called now, and
yeah, they've changed the title to Agatha a couple of times. It was Coven of Chaos, and I forget what the other ones. Mistress of Magic or some shit. I don't know.
Ironheart passed the next presidential election. Not to mention canning 8 fully.
Who is excited for Ironheart? Anybody? Oh, and Daredevil, like Disney, I don't think they're gonna handle Daredevil very well. I mean, look at how they've handled him so far. And
episodes of Daredevil and firing their writers and directors. But I suppose the real bad news, aside from the late night talk show hosts returning, is Amazon managed to complete the Rings of Power.
No, oh no! There were so many disasters on set. You would have think they'd take that as a sign from God or Tolkien's ghost to stop production.
Season 2, you had one job, Hollywood unions. And once again, YouTube content creators are missing the wisdom we get from adult pretenders on the red carpet and during press tours.
She was like, does anybody want me to play her anymore? And then this one right here, dissing the original Snow White, like that new Snow White's gonna be a dumpster fire.
Weird.
But the Film Actors Guild strike was supposed to be over by now. What happened? Apparently talks were going pretty good until they weren't. When the nanny and her brood of collectivists decided to put a 57-cent per subscriber levy on all streaming services.
We spent hours and hours with SAG-AFTRA over the last few weeks, and we were actually very optimistic that we were making progress. But then at the very end of our last session together, the Guild presented this new demand that kind of on top of everything for a per subscriber levy, unrelated to viewing or success. And this really broke our momentum, unfortunately.
And that money would go to, you guessed it, filling the coffers of the unions. So of course the talks with the AMTPT, which I call the arm.
Unions are the devil.
Pit broke down and then the armpit walked out. But the nanny and her cookie cup.
You don't know that clip was from the IT crowd. That shit was awesome.
Of communists weren't done there. They decided to follow up that with regulating Halloween costumes of the union members, leading them to
ridiculous. They have a rule right now because there's a strike that they can't wear licensed character costumes. Like they're encouraging them to wear ghost costumes, skeleton costumes, just the generic kind of Halloween costumes instead of things that could be constituted as promoting a movie.
Get roasted by their own union members, including Ryan Reynolds, who said this: "I look forward to screaming scab at my 8-year-old all night. She's not in the union, but she needs to learn." And former
I love Ryan Reynolds. He's got a good sense of humor about it.
SAG-AFTRA president Melissa Gilbert, who said, "This is the kind of silly bullshit that keeps us on strike. Let's enact a policy that makes us look petty and incompetent all at the same time."
Because a lot of them are.
Which it does. This led to a response from the Film Actors Guild, not to walk it back, but to clarify. It does not apply to anyone's kids yet. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if there were other last-minute demands, including increased rehab benefits, a guarantee that none of their coke will be cut with fentanyl, and a 69-cent levy against any subscriber of a YouTube channel that uses any of the cringe political statements of an adult pretender against them. I've also heard from some very reliable sources that maybe...
Yeah, all these guys do is take clips of the news and put them in their videos, and they get flack for it. It's like, they're not taking these things out of context. The stuff that these people say is really cringe. It's producers and actors.
Be the voices in my head that the actors' request of immortality is back on the
They're way out of touch.
table. So things aren't looking so good for the actors right now. As a matter of fact, they're so bad that George Clooney and a group of A-list actors offered to pay off their own union so they could go back to work. And we'll get to that. But if you recall my last
There must have been an episode of SNL that I missed with Medea on it.
strike video, we discussed an actor who had to do gardening in his rent-controlled apartment building to make up for the rent he couldn't pay.
Yeah, there's so many actors on the bottom of the totem pole that are struggling right now just because the unions have shut everything down. It's ridiculous. But they probably wouldn't have known any better than to join a union. Their agents probably pushed them into doing that.
And my only question at the time was, why don't you do what the rest of us do when we lose our job? Find another one. Well, apparently that's starting to happen. From the New York Times, as the strike wears on, actors turn to a familiar
I think it's referring to the food service industry or something.
Your fallback job. The Hollywood cliche of performers working as servers in restaurants is back. And while that was in New York, things are much worse in LA. How much Los Angeles' film and TV production fell amid strikes. The 3-month period from July to September saw 5,311 shoot days in the area, which represents a roughly 41% decline from the same quarter last.
I see this as a win because we've been getting absolutely too much crap the last few years. Like, they need to slow their roll.
Last year. In other words, things have been going downhill in woke Hollywood prior to the worst time strike in history. And again, this wasn't a strike, it was a purge. Contract disputes were not the sole cause of the downward trend, as overall, on-location filming in the region has been continuously in decline since 2021. So as we approach big woke Hollywood being shut down for almost 6 months, all of this may have led to the Film Actors Guild doing something the Writers Guild of America
I like that he calls it the Film Actors Guild. It's the Screen Actors Guild.
Didn't break. George Clooney, Scarlett Johansson, Tyler Perry, and other restless A-list actors pressure SAG-AFTRA to get a deal. So much for solidarity. A group of A-list actors is adding pressure on the Film Actors Guild leadership to find a way to resolve the actors' strike.
Fran Drescher, the nanny, is president of SAG-AFTRA, if you didn't know. George Clooney, I know, was wanting to. He was offering to pay a higher fee for the union or something, so that they could come to some kind of a deal. Well, we'll see.
Clooney, Tyler Perry, Scarlett Johansson, and others held a Zoom meeting on Tuesday afternoon with the nanny, the president of SAG-AFTRA, and Duncan Crabtree Ireland, the union's executive director, and a man with a hyphenated last name. Though the tone had been described as supportive, the actors did not call the meeting merely to express support. According to several sources, the A-listers represent significant discontent within the guild that talks have broken down, and they are looking for a path to restart negotiations and end the strike. Now, we wouldn't want George Clooney or Scarlett Johansson to have to sell one of their restaurants or mansions, or worse yet, not get attention for another month. But to be fair to Tyler,
I don't want anything to happen to Tyler Perry or Danny DeVito.
Perry, at least he employs hundreds of people, but none of them are wrong. They do need to end this. And
Tyler Perry started his own independent production company, and he's done very well for himself. So it's possible,
publicly embarrassing your union is something I'm completely for, which probably led to the immediate response from the nanny shooting this down and sounding like she's talking to children, because she is.
Hey everybody, it's me, Fran Drescher, your SAG-AFTRA president. And I wanted to just clarify a few things for you, because there's been a lot of confusion in the press today. So I'd like you to hear it direct from me where we're at. The suggestion that we take the caps off of the dues so that the highest paid members can contribute more.
She's gotten old, hasn't she?
And although that's extremely generous, and we accept that graciously, that does not impact the contract that we're striking over whatsoever.
Yeah, she is speaking as if talking to either third graders or people just with low cognition.
We are a federally regulated labor union, and the only contributions that can go into our pension and health funds must be from the employer.
This reminds me of that video from the live action Scooby-Doo movie where they were brainwashing the teenagers.
So what we are fighting for in terms of benefits has to remain in this contract. And that's kind of apples and oranges, just so everybody understands that.
For more context, we'll head over to Puck News, which is behind a paywall, but don't worry, I'll read it so you don't have to. This is from Matthew Bellani, who's usually on the side of the unions. And again, as far as my side is concerned, I'm Treebeard.
I am on nobody's side because nobody is on my side.
I guess I should say we are Treebeard, considering we're the paying customers within a culture that's been completely divided through the fortification of an entertainment industry that
and a new film industry whose motto is.
A lot of people ask why. Why treat the customer this way? Why? Because fuck them. That's why.
Used to entertain, but now wants to socially engineer. Anyway, the $150 million gesture from George Clooney.
Yeah, socially engineer as in, you don't know what's best for you, but we do, so we're going to shove it down your throat.
And his A-listers was just that, a gesture that the union was never going to take seriously because it takes a lot more to pay them off. This is like super well-intentioned and stuff, and we really appreciate ideas from all of our members, but it doesn't really solve the problem, says the man with the hyphenated last name, Crabtree Ireland. Except it does kind of solve the problem for us because it keeps woke Hollywood on strike. And quite frankly, the strike has been the most continuously entertaining thing Hollywood has put out in years. But once again, Clooney and his A-listers gesture did not solve the problem. It created another one. It made the union look really bad. It's also clear from these moves that the top earners and even the dwindling middle class of working actors are super frustrated with the stalemate. They took the summer off. Fine. Now they're losing a second movie or a new season of their lucrative show. The rest of the industry is also frustrated. After the grueling 148-day writer strike, many hoped SAG-AFTRA would negotiate gains on a few actor-specific issues, then wrap this up quickly so production can restart by the end of the year. Now everything is getting pushed to 2024 or beyond, and next summer's movie season is in disarray.
Yeah, the only thing I'm pissed off about is Dune 2 getting delayed. That's the only thing I was really looking forward to this year, and it got pushed back. Like maybe a week or so before the writer's strike ended. So stupid. So freaking stupid.
It's a mess, no matter who you blame. The studios could end this tomorrow. So could the union. According to Puck, the studios will need to settle for some kind of revenue-sharing scheme to resolve the impasse. Well, I sure hope that 57-cent levy per subscriber makes up for the 6 months of lost work for actors, writers, and all the below-the-line workers who don't work for your unions, and prepares an industry to restart for the second time.
Yeah, what about the cameramen, the grips, the coffee boys, all that stuff?
In half a decade, and it may or may not work over the next 2 years.
The caterers, the hairdressers.
If there's any theaters left. Let's keep in mind, both these unions are led and largely represent the interests of the lower earning members, many of whom don't work. Yet the burden of the walkout falls on the middle and high earners, as well as the rest of the adult pretending community that will not see any
Yeah, let's not forget, they are just adult pretenders. That's what Gary likes to call them, and that's what I call them too, because their jobs are not that important. They may think they're really important, but they're not. They're just here to entertain us, to keep us occupied when we have nothing better to do than to sit on our butt and watch something. It's laughable. They think they're so important.
Financial benefit from a deal. Remember, only 14% of the Film Actors Guild members make at least $26,470 a year annually to qualify for health care coverage, according to the union. And
that's the way the unions like it.
Trend piece about actors returning to restaurant jobs during the strike was a head scratcher because most actors already had other jobs before the strike. At least they get to be striking actors now rather than unemployed actors, and there's less incentive to make a deal. Unfortunately, Thanks to the strike, there's going to be a lot more unemployed actors and writers, but the ones who are left are probably going to get a good deal. So after A-listers like George Clooney and Emma Stone tried to pay off their own union to end the strike, and after that embarrassment, the Film Actors Guild decided to double down and ban their members from wearing Halloween costumes, it's no surprise that the Screen Actors Guild has decided to resume talks with the producers. And maybe, just maybe, some members of all sides have noticed that nobody cares other than getting some mild amusement from this clown show. Yet, now that the strike is winding down...
Yeah, I can always just go back and watch things that I haven't watched before. I haven't seen Babylon 5 yet. I haven't seen all of Buffy. I haven't seen all of X-Files. There are plenty of things I have not seen that I can just go back and watch. Like, I do not need new programming. The only thing I'm still waiting on is the end of Cobra Kai, the end of Yellowstone, another season of 1923. I know it's gonna come out, and then Dune 2. That's all I was really looking forward to. Yeah.
What lies ahead for woke Hollywood? Insiders weigh in. What comes after peak TV? What's the next labor battle? Whose stories will be told? The Hollywood Reporter asks 4 Hollywood players from different quarters of the industry for their predictions on what a post-strike era might look like. The Actors Union and the studios have ceased negotiations for the time being, extending Hollywood's summer of strikes into at least the late fall. Eventually, however,
at least it's not another summer of love.
This too must end, right? And while the town will breathe a much needed sigh of relief when that happens, the tensions and problems that led the industry to the breaking point have not gone away. The contraction of production, the end of peak TV, I
feel like the era of peak TV was like the early 90s. Late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, I'd say right about that.
He'll battle for theatrical and the coming fights over artificial intelligence, lack of talent producing low-quality content due to their slavish adherence to the message, polluting some of our favorite stories and characters with intersectionalism and identity politics. Oh, wait, they didn't mention that. These issues will
They're never going to mention the
haunt the entertainment industry for years to come. The Hollywood Reporter talked to 4 people: Noah Hawley, a showrunner; Gina Prince Blythewood, a director; Teamsters boss Lindsay Doherty, and producer Mikey Lee. And quite frankly, the only one who made sense was Noah Hawley, the former showrunner of Legion and Fargo. The last 5 years in Hollywood, as in America,
that's 2 more shows I have not seen,
have been defined by complexity. That's a nice way to put it. We've seen it both in the sophistication of prestige TV, or the lack of sophistication, and in the labyrinth distribution systems we have to navigate in order to watch it. I think the next 5 years will place the emphasis on clarity. The audience of the very near future, or now, will shy away from entertainment that feels too real, i.e. topical and morally ambiguous. Oh, you mean they want to stay away from on-the-nose political junk and...
Yeah, or reality itself. We just want escapism.
Nihilism? Yes. At the same time,
nihilism sucks. It's gotten played a
holiday. 500 shows will become 300. 10 streamers will become 5, with fewer shows and films to watch. Hey, WGA, how does that strike victory feel now? Stars will become more meaningful in attracting audiences, with celebrity offering its own kind of clarity. Well, see, there's the problem. The era of the movie star is
over.
Over, thanks to social media, because the mystery is gone and we got to know him. Gotta give credit to Noah Hawley, though. It sounds like he's a realist and he's making sense. In this new phase of the business, viewers will gravitate towards stories that make sense to them, not ones where the imagined world, like our real one, is divided and hard to fathom. Translation: oh shit, we better bring back escapism.
Yep, bring back escapism, bring back traditional storytelling. That's what people crave.
Turns out people really don't want to hear some rich, biased, empty-headed adult pretender using they.
Oh yeah, that woman right there was saying that I think she was the one that said, like, Star Wars is not about good and evil. It's like, really? You think?
Biased, empty-headed adult pretender using,
and said Star Wars was full of a patriarchy. Like, we haven't had characters like Leia or Mon Mothma. in the story.
They, them, his or her platform to bitch about the injustices of the world, all while promoting their multi-million-dollar fantasy series whose source material was usurped and then turned into a platform that bitches about the injustices of the world. The rest of this article is Hollywood speak gobbledygook that uses the word diverse 8 times. Now, that does include 6 usages of the word
within 2 paragraphs.
Diverse in 2 paragraphs by Gina Prince Bythewood, the director of The Woman King. Despite Noah Hawley making some sense, it looks like woke Hollywood will never learn. In not too short a time, the studio...
Yeah, they always get so close to the answer, to the target, but they miss it.
The Writers Guild and the Film Actors Guild are going to regret the hell out of this strike. Hell, it was just a few months ago when both the writers and the actors and their representative unions were looking for the government to break up the giant companies that they are now begging to make a deal with. And my good friend Eric July put it best. They're begging to make a deal with the devil. So when the strike...
Yeah, they didn't want these big companies when they didn't think they needed them, but now they realize, oh, snap, we actually need them to survive. We can't survive on our own.
Eventually ends and it's all said and done, there's going to be half the TV shows, half the movies, half the companies, half the streamers, half the opportunities based on the system that you in Hollywood imprisoned yourself in. And it's going to have serious repercussions on below the line workers and a lot of innocent parties. And this really important thing that Hollywood needs, the theater. Just look at that list of...
Yeah, they've downplayed the theater, but the theater's really where everything took off. That first took off. Like TV shows didn't come till later. Like theaters were first, and they're what became the main escapism for a while. It's a Wonderful Knife. I wonder what that's about. Was that on Disney Plus? Oh no, that's RLJE Films Limited. So it must be an independent movie. Yeah, but they really need to get back to catering to theaters, because the theaters, if they don't survive, then the studios are screwed. Because what are they gonna do? Like keep everything on these streaming services? They're not making money. They're gonna go to like a cable model, which it seems like they're leaning towards that already. And there's just gonna be like 3 main ones probably, like maybe Disney, Netflix, and Sony. Well, no, Sony licenses their stuff, so they don't have a streaming service. So maybe if Hulu becomes its own service, because Peacock and Paramount Plus and HBO Max maybe could be one of the 3 main ones. I'm predicting the future here. I see just a few streamers that are like at the top, and then whatever's left is really tiny in comparison, if there's any other left. And if there's any other left, it might be like back in the day where there was just 3 channels on the TV. There's 3 streamers.
The films coming out through Christmas. It's filled with projected underperformers, including The Marvels, The Hunger Games prequel, and the soon-to-be very first Hollywood box office plop, Aquaman 2. Sure, there's a couple of movies that look good. Silent Night, The Iron Claw, Ferrari, but...
Was that a real clip from that Aquaman movie? I wonder.
None of them are going to be box office bonanzas, and honestly, the list looks grim and tired, along with the rest of Tinseltown. Disney is tired. Bob Iger is definitely tired. The actors look tired. And quite frankly, the ideas from Hollywood are tired. And the audience is way past tired. A few months ago,
apathy is worse than hate. I've always
said it was just woke Hollywood fatigue, but now it's something worse. It's Hollywood fatigue. If you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like what you heard, I thank you for listening this long. I will see you in the next video.
Nerdrotic.com. That was Gary Biegler from Nerdrotic. Love that guy. Share, subscribe, everything. Like his videos. He does great work. And I will thank you for watching my video, and I will see you in the next